Shalom, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Brakathum. Double honors to the elders and apostles, Great Millstone. It's Brother Yatazadak back once again with another live lesson. As always, giving all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles, Great Millstone. Right, so we're going to go into Jeremiah chapter 19, going into the Hebrew. All right. So Lord willing, you're edified, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, Great Millstone. Shalom to the 144,000 of the nation of Israel, which consists of you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. We are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. The RFID chip is a mark of the beast. Revelation 13:16. That's the mark of the beast, the RFID chip. We are in America, Babylon the Great. 2/3 of you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans will be coerced into taking the RFID chip. You're going to perish in a time of martial law, FEMA camps, world economic collapse, third woe, also known as World War III, right? The time which has not been since the foundation of the world, also known as Jacob's trouble. All right. This is what's written in the prophetic word. The Most High God's name is Yahweh. It's not Jehovah. It's not Yahuwah. It's Yahweh. Bashem means in the name. In the ancient Hebrew tongue, Yahushai, Hamashiach is who you call Jesus Christ. It's not Yeshua. It's not Yahushua. It's Yahushai, Hamashiach. Hamashiach. All right. Not Hamashiach. All right. It's Ha-Ma-Shayach. Ma meaning of, Shayach means anointed. All right. Yahushai. All right. Which was a so-called black man who you call Jesus Christ. So we're not preaching Christianity. We're not preaching white Jesus. We're preaching the word as it is written, the volume of the book, right? Starting with our elders and apostles, a great millstone, right? The Wadi Halba Shemal Shai for them, for our elders that came before us, those that have been laboring in the word for decades upon decades upon decades, right? Warning our people about these things that are written to come to pass. Salakia. Right? These things that are written to come to pass. All right? Salakia. I'm trying to do a little mic check. Testing, testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me out there? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. I hope the mic is working. Might have to start over the live and just make sure, because usually I have this different icon popping up. So forgive me. Salakia. Trying to adjust this. Shalom, shalom. I don't know why. Usually there's a different icon that pops up. It's strange. Anyways. We're just gonna keep going, Salakia. All right. Jeremiah chapter 19, going to the Hebrew. Lord willing, you're edified. We're going to get right into it. All right. So we are the true Christians, which are the Christian just means a follower of Jesus Christ, Yahushua HaMashiach, which that's only written in the Bible 2 times, right? The book of St. James says, right, the Apostle James, which was the brother of the Lord, of Yahushua, right? He even said himself, do they not blaspheme that worthy name by which you were called, which was the Israelite, which they were called these Israelite foreigners, right? Which you had Jake back then. Jake is short for Jacob, right? We're talking about our people that were following Roman customs, and today, in a sense, they're still doing it, right? Because this is Rome all over again. All right. So the Apostle James said, do they not blaspheme that worthy name by the which you are called, which was an Israelite, right? So that Christian was more so a byword, all right, which that's part of the curses. We're going to be known as proverbs, bywords. We're going to be called black, brown, Christian, sect of the Nazarites, which that's what they called Paul, right? And that was like a long running joke. Like Felix, which was a one of the rulers that spoke with Apostle Paul. He said, "Does thou almost persuadest me to be a Christian?" And that's not what it's talking about, right? Now we are Christians because we follow Yahushua. We call Jesus Christ in ignorance, but we don't follow the tenets of Christianity, right? We don't subscribe to the tenets of Christianity. That's not what we're preaching. We're preaching the 100% truth. Christianity, Catholicism is of man, right? We're preaching the 100%, the volume of the book, all right? And those Israelite foreigners, which they call Gentiles, right? When they were returning in these various churches, they were called Christians. But right, you have believers of the circumcision as well, which were Jews. Right, again, Jew is a byword. Jew pertains to Judah, which is one of the sons of Jacob. Right, but these Jews, which were Israelites, because they were sons of Israel, of the 12 tribes, right? The sons of Jacob, right? We know in the book of Genesis, Jacob's name was changed to Israel. All right. And right, so these Israelite foreigners, these Gentiles, they were called Gentiles, they were called Christians. But that's only twice in the Bible, mentioned twice in the New Testament, right? We're Israelites. All right. You have the Ishmael, which is a son of Abraham, right? Abraham had 2 sons, Isaac, right? And then Ishmael. The Ishmael, still, that nation is still here today, which are called Arabs, right? You even have the tenets of the Islam, right? Muhammad, he claimed his descendancy from Ishmael, right? Which they're called in the Bible, they're called Ishmaelites, right? If Jacob's name wasn't changed to Israel, we would be called Jacobites, right? But we're Israelites, right? Ishmael in the Hebrew is Yah Shemai Allah, right? And Israelite, the sons, which comes to this lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. He had children, and they became a nation as well. So they're called Israelites. So you have Ishmaelites, you have Moabites, right? You had even in the beginning Adamites, which were sons of Adam. They were only called Adamites because they were called sons of Adam, right? But that's not the point. The point is, this is not a new thing. We're not making this. We're not making this up. When you say Ishmael, right? In the Bible, they're called Ishmaelites, right? And but anyways, let's get right into it. Jeremiah chapter 19, right? The header of this chapter is the broken jar. Let me see if I got some points. Salakia. Salakia means forgive me in the Hebrew, the ancient Hebrew. All right, just bear with me 1 second. Right, so this is what we're doing. All right, Salakia, these are my notes. Right, so what are you doing with this truth? All right, are you falling out? Is your hope still in Yahweh Bashimi Al Shai? All right, are you enduring? Are you doing the sit downs? Right, are you still preaching the word? All right. Elder Pastahar, he recently did a video. They were talking about one of the brothers that was in GMS. You know, he had a little anger issue and he drank a lot. You know, and ultimately he stopped uh, showing up to camp, and altogether he eventually just stopped preaching. All right. So the Lord didn't call these men. All right. And right. So that's our hope is what to see judgment on you goddamn devils, the Edomites, which is the so-called white man. All right, on you damn devils, right? And 2/3 of our people, right? We want you to repent, but if you don't repent, we know the Lord is going to destroy you. We know the remnant will return. All right, it's simple as that. Okay, I got that icon now. So, Salakia. So you either, right, you're going to repent or not. You're going to seek the Lord or not. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Why he may still while he may still be found. All right, which brings me to the parable in Saint Luke about the faithful steward. All right, and let's get that real quick. I believe that's Luke chapter 17. All right. Because it even says in the book of Ezekiel, all right, that if you do not warn the wicked man to turn from his wicked way, the Lord will require your blood, right? And not his. All right. When you turn back from your way, righteous way, you're gonna be destroyed, basically. All right. And so on and so forth. I was recently meditating on that. And Elder Pastahar, I think he did a video where he said that um he said something to the effect of, if you don't got it, the Lord can take that spirit away, you know. So our job is to right. Let's get that Saint Luke chapter 17. I believe it's 18. Let's just look that up. Pretty sure it was in this chapter. Uh, Faithful steward. Bible Hub. Okay. Luke 12 and 42. Salakia. Let's see. St. Luke chapter 12, verse 42. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Something to the effect of he forgave, it goes into that the children of this world are wiser than children of light. Children of this world wiser than children of light. Okay, Luke chapter 16. All right. Luke 16 to 1, and he said unto his disciples, there was a certain rich man which had a steward, and the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods. All right. And he called him and said unto him, how is it that I hear this of thee? Give account of thy stewardship, for thou mayest no longer be steward. Right? Because his ministry is not forever. All right. And that's how you can line that up with the because the Lord to the Spirit, he's exacting, right, that money that he gave us. All right. Accused is just, it doesn't mean that the rich man steward, the rich man is wrong, right? Accused is it's just, you know, because if the Lord sees you slacking, right, then the Lord has a right to accuse you of wasting his goods. All right. But this is talking about, those that are coming into the ministry, right? What are you doing with your stewardship? All right. Verse. So you can line that up with the parable of the money that the Lord gave to his servants. All right. And so it says, verse 3, and the steward said within himself, what shall I do? For my Lord taketh away from me the stewardship. I cannot dig. To beg I am ashamed. Right? Because we're not here to be artificers. You got brothers that do that, that support the ministry in different ways. But this is talking about the heads, right? Those that are teaching the right thing. They're supposed to be teaching the right thing. All right. So we're not really focusing on those things. All right. And we're too proud to beg Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you know, or we're ashamed to beg to the Lord because we know that we have to be doing right the work, teaching the word. All right, which is why it says to beg I am ashamed. Verse 4, I am resolved what to do, that when I am put out of my stewardship, they may receive me unto their houses. All right, this is talking about bringing the remnant, right? Bringing them back, right? So they repent, so they return to the Lord, right? So they're able to receive the correct doctrine, the correct understanding. All right. because eventually, right, the ministry, the Lord is going to close the gates of mercy. All right. So we're supposed to increase the money, and even the in the parable where the Lord said, right, compared to the parable of the sower, the one that sows the word. We're supposed to be increasing tenfold, some increase 100-fold, because you got our elders that they've been laboring for decades upon decades. You can say they're the Lord increased them 100-fold, because that's where we got the understanding through Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, through our elders. Some of us are able to go into the Hebrew. You got, for example, Apostle Ramlab. He's always going into the Greek. IUIC. Sometimes they go into the history, even though they go off. Um, right. So it says, so that they may receive me into their houses. All right. So we have a short time to increase, right, these the money that the Lord gave us in the form of right, making full proof of what the ministry, like Paul the Apostle said. All right. Luke 16:5 says, so he called every one of his Lord's debtors unto him, and said unto the first, how much owest thou unto my Lord? And he said, 100 measures of oil. And he said unto him, take thy bill, sit down quickly, and write 50. Right? Because you even have the parable of Yahweh spoke to the, I believe it was a publican or a Pharisee. He was dining. They were dining. He was dining at his house. And the Lord said, or the publican said, but the Pharisee said, this woman, Lord, she hasn't stopped kissing your feet, anointing it with tears, right? But he said something to the effect of, this woman, as she was going off or whatever she did, but the Lord's Yahweh Shai confounded the Pharisee. He said, right, a man had a debts, and one of them forgave the most, right? So who was more righteous? And the Pharisee said, the one that forgave the most. So that's what Yahushua said. He said, go forth and do so as well. All right. And he said unto another, verse 7, how much owest thou? And he said, 100 measures of wheat. And he said unto him, take thy bill and write 80. Right. Verse 8, and the Lord commended the unjust steward, because he had done wisely, for the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light. Which is why it says in verse 9, make yourself friends of the mammon of unrighteousness, right? Meaning use the world, not abuse it, use it to forward the ministry, that when you fail, they may receive you into everlasting habitations. Because ultimately, if your mind is on the money, then you're not going to dedicate as much time as you should in the ministry. All right. Now, there's nothing wrong with having nice things. There's nothing wrong with that. Right. But our job is to bring the remnant in. All right. So when the kingdom of heaven comes, they're going to look back and they're going to say, because we have a greater job as those that are so-called preaching, teaching, doing exhortation videos, whatever it is, we're out there as representatives of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, So our job is to, the Lord said, lest your righteousness exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees. So we're supposed to keep the law, and at the same time, we're supposed to teach the right thing. We're supposed to go above and beyond our duty, in the sense that, what does it say? I believe that's the book of Hebrews. There's nothing greater that the man can do than give up his life for his brethren. Not literally. Well, some of us will get martyred, but give up our life in the sense that that this is what we dedicate ourselves to. All right, teaching, preaching the word, so on and so forth. All right, that should be the main focus. All right. So that's why the unjust steward, the Lord commended the unjust steward. All right. Now, unjust steward, that doesn't mean, that we're allowed to go off, we're allowed to, do whatever the hell we want. No, there's an order to this thing. All right. But we're supposed to, bring Jake in. That's the point, right? That's why he said, "For the children of this world are in the generation wiser than children of light." Right. So yeah, sometimes we sound a little rude. We sound a little. We use strong verbal language. Sometimes we call out Jake, and you're not gonna like it. You're gonna look at us like we're bullies. You know, right? But that's okay. We're supposed to be hated. All right. Um, which is why it says in for the children of this world, they're in the generation wiser than the children of light, because the Lord said to right to call out these things, right? The hypocrisies within these other camps, IUIC, ISUPK, Sakari, that have 501c3 tax exempt status, you know. Um, in the book of the prophet Ezekiel, right, the Lord said, I've made your forehead hard against their foreheads, and so on and so forth. All right. And the Lord said to be wise as serpent, harmless as doves, so on and so forth. All right. So it says, he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much, and he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. Right? So the Lord has given us, this the blueprint. All right. So we're supposed to be faithful in the least thing, right? And call out those that are unjust in the least, because that shows that they're compromised. All right. And there's other precepts we can go into, you know. This is why Great Mill Stone is known as the grunt camp, you know, the bomb camp, right? And that's in the law too. Correction, reproof, right? Reproofs and instruction are the ways of life. All right. Which is why verse 11 says, Luke 16:11, if therefore you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit unto to your trust the true riches? Right? Even in this world, we're supposed to, have a particular um, representation of ourselves. You know, we can't be reckless. We can't be getting emotional. You know, and that was a good example that they brought up of that brother that was in Great Mill Stone. Getting emotional. Drinking, and at the end of the day, that's demons that brother had on him. And if you're not right, the Lord can put these type of demons on you. But luckily, the Wadi Yahweh Bashim Al when we came into the truth, right? Like Elder Pastor Tahar says, he took that demon that we had on that we had on us in the world, But some brothers can't shake off that demon, you know. And what happens? You slowly fall back, and you know, eventually, you're gonna find an excuse not to preach the word, you know, and that's basically in a nutshell what happens. You didn't count the costs, right, et cetera, right? And this is a good example. This chapter, Luke 16, verse 13 says, "No servant can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one or love the other." Right? So what do you love? Money or Yahweh Bashem Yahushai? Right? Our affairs are supposed to be, yeah, we have affairs in this world. We have particular commitments that we have in the world, and that's fine. But we also have the ministry. All right. So if you're not really in it, it's gonna show that you're not really in it. And it's easy to tell, to spot who these spies are. These uh these men crept in unawares. You know, you gotta have a certain level of maturity when you're in preaching the word, when you're out there. When you're doing the videos, you got to show some restraint. You got to have that insight, and you're not gonna have these things if you're not being diligent. But anyways, you know, and this is, I can go through the whole chapter. You know, verse 16 says, "The law and the prophets were until John. Since that time, the kingdom of God is preached, and every man presseth into it." Right? Are you still pressing into the pushing the word, pushing the kingdom of heaven? All right? Or are you scared? Right? Are you scared? All right? Who do you trust? You're not supposed to trust man, right? That's in the book of the prophet Jeremiah. He said, "Woe unto man that maketh other man's flesh his own flesh." All right. So we're going to trust the Lord. All right. And continue, right? And Lord willing, we continue to grow, because that's what you gotta be. That's how you gotta be in this thing. That's in the book of Hebrews, to grow in the grace of the Lord. All right. Not be stagnant, because if you're repeating the same, BS, like I said, you can tell who these men that are crept in unawares are, because you always hear that same punchline. Well, these are the times that we're in, you know, or something big is about to go down. That's the same. Um, they're like parrots. These agents, these crept in unawares into the ministry. You know, where they try to sound super, super Israelite, or Shalom Akim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, uh, Shalom to the house of David, 144,000, the 24 men, the cavalries, and the Lord's Shalom to the ark of the Lord. This and that, this and that. You know, the Lord said to make it plain upon tables. All right. So that's what we're doing, right? Giving you the vision plain upon tables, and that's it. Simple as that. All right. That's just how it goes. But anyways, Salakia, let's go back to the blue letter. Jeremiah chapter 19. All right. So we're going to start at verse 1. And this was not a rant. This was righteous edification. Because you gotta filter these things that you see happening in the world, right? Filter the things that when the elders and apostles make the videos, do the sit downs. You got to filter them, and you got to see whether these things be so, like the church in Corinth. You know, you got to have a swivel on your head, because if not, you're gonna let these demons get to you. You know, that depressed demon, that woe is me spirit, that you know. So the elect are not will not be deceived. You know, because the Lord set up the teachers, which starting with the elders and apostles, a great millstone. But anyways, so it says Jeremiah 19:1, verse 1 says, "Thus saith the Lord, go and take a bottle of the potter, which is a earthen vessel," right? Yatazar, that's how you say potter, and of the ancients of the people, for elders. Saquan means elder or ancient, and of the ancient of the priest, or the elder priests. All right, and that's the spirit. Because I was just going into that. There's an order to this thing. You can't just say what you want. You can't just think that okay, now I'm in the ministry. Okay, I'm the one now. This is my ship now. No, trying to overstep your elders, right? No, that's not how that works. You have to pay homage and follow and teach the right doctrine. And our elders will not cause us to stumble as well. That's in the book of Sirach. Do not cause reverence for any man, cause thee to fall. Right? But our elders and apostles, great millstone, they're teaching the right thing. So we're in the right, we're following the right doctrine, which is why we say Tawadi Yahweh Bashim Yahushai for elders and apostles. And we give double honors where honor is due, because they're doing the right thing. But as far as you Akim and these other camps, you got your elders, but they're going off. Like IUIC, they're still teaching hell is a place underground. That hell doctrine, which and then they switch up. They say, okay, hell is a state of mind. Yada yada yada. So the Lord is showing you those that are approved amongst Him. Like Paul the Apostle said, there must be heresies, which when you go into that word in the Greek, it goes into sex, not sex, sex, sects, which is short for section, or a division of a group, religious sects, what they call them, which are religious divisions. All right. So it reads, Ka Amar Yahweh Halak Wa Kwanyath Bakwa Bak or Salakia Bak Yatazar Harash Wama Zakwanya Ha'aim Wama Zakwanya HaKahanyum. Verse 2 says, and go out unto the valley of the son of Hinnom, which is at the entrance of the gate east. Let's look at that word. East Haras. the itch, the sun, right? Because that goes to the root word hara or har, which means to wax hot, which haras is just another way to say sun, right? Which is the word is actually shamash, right? But sometimes it's called like it says here, haras. Sometimes it's called haman, which haman is that goes into what's it called? The word, I believe it means sundial, which can be used in negative connotation or in a positive connotation, right? And so on and so forth. All right. So let's see. Haras, the sun, an uncommon word, mostly poetic. So it's a poetic way to say sun, right? For example, kham means heat or hot, which is where ham gets its name. But kham can also be used to mean the color brown. And there's you have kodar, which means dark skin, you know, and right, haras. Also, perhaps from the mediating idea of the sun was the lakia. Haras, apparently in the sense of a red towel used for scraping, a potsherd, all right, which is why it says the entrance of the gate east, and proclaim there unto the words which I shall speak unto thee, Waya Taza'ath, Al Gaya'a Ban Hanam, Ashar Patach, Sha'ar Ha Harasyath, Wa Kwara'ath, Sham Atha, Ha Dabaryan, Ashar Adabar Al. Verse 3 says, and say, hear unto the word of the Lord, O kings of Judah, and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring an evil upon the place this, which all that heareth of it it shall tingle their ears. Right? That word is tha tazalna, which the root is tazalal, which means to ring, to jingle, right? To tingle, right? Tazalal through the idea. This is Strong's H6750. Through the idea of vibration, to tinkle, to rattle together. Which reads Wa Amarath Shemai Wa Dabar Yahweh Malakya Yahweh Wa Yeshabya Yerushalayim Ka Amar Yahweh Tazabaath Alahaya Yashar Allah Hanaya Ma Baya'a Raya Al Hamakwam Hazah Ashar Kol Shemaya Tatazal Na Azan Yawa. Verse 4, on account of which they have forsaken me, and they have estranged unto the place this, or as, and they have become strange unto the place this. Right, nakar means, right, he's a stranger, right, or to become estranged. Sometimes it means, right, in another sense, it means to acknowledge, right, so on and so forth. All right. Salakia. Unto the place this, and they have burned incense um in it unto gods others, Salakia, which uh they have not known, Salakia, which they have not known, they and their fathers and the kings of Judah, and have filled unto the place this with the blood of the innocent. Ya'an, Ashar, Azabnaya, Waya, Nakarwa, Atha, Hamaquam, Hazah, Waya, Qatarwa, Bawa, La Alahayim, Ahariam, Ashar, La'a, Yedayam, Hama, Wa Abatayaham, Wa Malakya, Yahawada, Wa Mala'awa, Atha Hamaquam, Hazah, Dam, Naquayim. Verse 5 says, and they have built unto the high places of Baal to burn unto their sons upon the fire, with burnt offerings unto Baal, which I have not commanded, and I have not spake, and it have not ascended unto upon my heart. Wa banwa atha bamath ha Baal la sharap atha banyaham ba'ash elath la Baal ashar la'a tazai yathya wa la'a tabarthaya wa la'a ilatha al labia. Verse 6 says, for so, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, and it shall not be called unto the place this anymore. Topeth, the path. Let's look at that word. Strong's 8612. Topeth, place of fire. You can compare it with the word shapath, which shapah means lip. Shapath is just another way to say high place, or a barren, or a barren land, or bare place. That's what it means. Which that's where they would commit these idolatrous acts. You know, the path, just the letter, the tha is interchanged with the shah. It also means spittle, trash. Inside joke. You know, but no, it doesn't mean that. It just means spittle. You know, place of graves, right? Which was the valley of the son of Hinnom, which is a play on words. You know, you have, like, for example, Abraham. His name is Abar Abraham, which means father of multitudes, but it sounds akin to father of mercies, Raham. Just like let's see if I can think of another one. Um, I can't think of one off the top of my head. Or Issachar, Yasha, Shakar, which means he is hired, but it also means there is a reward, as in, for your labors, you know. And there's other ones too. Zebulon, which is haven of ships. Zabal, when you go into that word, it also means a gift. Lawan, or sometimes it's Lawan or Layan. It means to tarry, the gift that tarries. So the various tribes, they have different characteristics, right, according to their names. Like Benjamin, son of the right. And that's the accounts of Judges. Which they're good with their right hand. They would sling rocks or whatever. You know, and so on and so forth, right? But Benjamin's name was actually son of my son of my pain, or something to that effect, right? And you can look it up. I'm not going to go into all that, because I already kind of went into the a few other things already, you know, just like the Valley of the Son of Hinnom, which Hinnom, and I believe that might be, I'm speaking as a man, but that might just be like a clerical error, which is Hanum, but Hanum, not with the Ha, but the Ha would actually, it would be interpreted as the Valley of the Son of Not, because that's where Jake would burn his children and cause them to pass through the fire for Molech as a burnt offering. All right, the Valley of the Son of Not, which is it's also known as Topeth, which is spittle, means spittle, place of fire, etc., etc. You know, but anyways, just like the Japhites, they're known as Yapath. But when you go into these lands where Japheth is at, which are the so-called Polynesians, Hawaiians, Samoans, you know, they're really they're really just vain, you know. Some of them, they that's all they're worried about is appearance. And you know you have some of them that are like you go to these because Esau drove them down from their land, which was where Esau calls Europe, but that was originally the land of Japheth. He drove them down southward under where India is and all that. And you got these like what is that, Vietnamese, and and they're down there, they're mingled with Moab. Some of them are Moabites, you know and there's a lot of foul practices down there too. They eat rats and shit, like, and stuff like that. Salakia, you know the path, so spittle, or good for nothing, you know and that's because you nations, you're not in your right mind. And the wrong ruler is in charge at the moment, which is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. right? He destroys the earth, and and then you nations get caught up in that, you know, because the wrong the Lord set up Esau to destroy the earth, right? But anyways, so it says, "For behold, the days come, saith the Lord, and it shall not be called the place this any more, Topeth, and the valley of the son of Hinnom, because lo shall be the valley of slaughter, which is right where the armies of the earth will gather, right, in the day of the Lord, the day of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai." Right? Sometimes it's called Armageddon. Sometimes it's called, um, right here, it's called the Valley of Slaughter. All right. So that's what the Lord is going to bring judgment to you nations, right? The Lord is going to magnify the children of Israel after he delivers the remnant out of America, Babylon the Great, before the thermonuclear missiles hit. World War III, which is the third world, kicks off. Jacob's trouble kicks off, because we're not in Jacob's trouble now. Yeah, we're going through, some motions, but this isn't it. It's gonna. The Apostle Paul said, "I reckon that you should gather together, not for the better, but for the worse." And he was speaking about this current time. Not that we need to, take a flight and we all got to huddle up and preach. The Lord set us up to preach in these various parts of the earth, mainly in America, Babylon the Great. Gathering together means, like Scripture say, "Gather together, O nation not desired," meaning gathered to be gathered by the word. All right. That's what the Lord said. He said, "Not by might, not by, great numbers, but by my spirit. My spirit shall gather them." All right. So it reads, "Lakan hana yum yum ba'ayam ba'ayam na'am Yahweh wa'la'a ya kwara'a la makwam haza iwad hathapath wa kaya'a ban hanam kaya im kaya kaya'a ha harga haraga ha haraga." All right. Which is that reminds me of that precept in the book of Ezekiel, the Lord hit the glittering sword. What do you think that glittering sword is? It represents Yahushua, yeah, because he's coming to wound the head over many nations. Right? The chariots, they're gonna be zapping Edomites, zapping 2/3. But that glittering sword is also the missiles, right? Just like in the book of Ezekiel, right? Ezekiel, when he said that the Lord took me by the locks and carried me away, the Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord didn't grab onto Ezekiel's head and pulled him into the air. No, that was talking to Ezekiel saw chariots. Him being pulled by the Spirit of the Lord, that's the Lord, that's that chariot that beamed Ezekiel up. And right, sent him to particular areas, or just gave him a vision. All right. When Ezekiel described, and I'm speaking as a man because we don't really know what the chariots look like, but Ezekiel described different heads on the chariots. We know that he's just describing the angels. They got bronze feet. But when you go into the Hebrew, which I'm gonna do less, Lord willing, I can start going into Ezekiel because I've been recently going into that in the Hebrew. Ezekiel saw the chariots. Ezekiel was beamed up by a chariot, taken to the temple to see particular visions, to see Jake going off, right? And he described the wheels. Okay, he described wheels that were on the sides of the chariot. He said that these wheels were a wheel within a wheel, and there was 4 of them, or something to that effect. And then he said the angels had three different heads: one of an ox, one of an eagle, one of a lion, one of a man, or 4, right? And then it describes 4 wheels, right? And then it says they had wings, and it was lifted up by the wings. You know, I'm speaking as a man when I say that those heads, those different heads that Ezekiel saw, they may be different forms that the chariots were taking. You know, because we know, right? The chariots sometimes are called clouds. You know, so Ezekiel said, okay, once it took the form of an eagle, or Salaki, it had a face of an eagle. And then when you read later on, it described 4 faces, but it didn't describe the eagle. It said the face of a man, the face of an eagle, or Salaki, the face of a oh no, the first time he described 4 faces, he said the face of an ox. And the second time he did it, he didn't describe it like that. You know? So just picture, you know, this is where Esau gets his and the Moabites, you know, where they got these animes where, you know, you got men jumping into machines and controlling the machines. That's what the angels are doing. This is what Ezekiel described. He said he saw the chariot, and he saw the chariot covered by its wings on its 4 sides, which that sounds like the cloaking device. And then he said that there was a living spirit in the chariot, and then there was another above in the firmament, which like Elder Pastor Har said, one angel can destroy the whole earth, because they're in the 4th dimension. They're from the 4th dimension. So picture, you know, that's how Esau comes up with these ideas, planes and bicycles and stuff like that. You know, so Ezekiel saw, just to go quickly into it, Ezekiel said there was the living spirit was in the firmament, and then he said he saw the chariot, and he saw the angel in the chariot, something to that effect. And then he said there was a wheel on that touched the earth, and wherever the wheel went, the chariot went. But basically, the angel is like, you know, in a you know, you play the VR, virtual reality, augmented reality. The angels are in the 4th dimension, basically controlling copies of themselves in this realm. And then they're working the chariot through, you know, I'm just speaking as a man, because that's what I was kind of meditating on, you know. But it says what it says, you know. I'm not going to change, you know, and say it means something else, you know. I'm just you know, because we don't know what the chariots, how they really work and all that. But I just found that interesting, that it describes part of the 4 faces as an ox, and then it doesn't do that the second time Ezekiel describes it. And then it describes some other stuff that you really, you know, these are things we can't really understand, because these are otherworldly things. You know, we're not supposed to understand how the chariot works, and you know. But it's mind blowing when you think about it, you know, because that wheel that touched the earth, and it followed it wherever right? So there was like a beam. Ezekiel described a beam that went down, and the angel went. He beamed himself down, and then there was a like laser guiding laser on him to wherever he moved. Like let's say he beamed down, and ran a few blocks. Not that they need to. They can just kind of they just move. They just move and they teleport or whatever. Whatever. However they, you know. But that's kind of mind blowing when you think about how that works. And it makes you think about these animes where they got with people, they'll jump into it and pilot these giant robots and like Transformers. You got some of the Transformers like the actual series. You know, they call one of the series Beast Wars, where they were the robots would turn into animals and stuff like that. So the chariots can do whatever they want. The angels can do whatever they want, basically, because they have that technology. But I was thinking about that because it said the face of an eagle, and then it said the face of a man. That could be these different forms that it could take. The form of a lion, basically like take the form of an animal. I mean, that's just, I was just meditating on that. But I'm not gonna say that, oh, this means that, this means that. Scriptures say what they say, you know. But I was just kind of, meditating on, wow, that's, we don't really understand what it's really talking about, because it's not of this world. All right. And I'm gonna go over it. I'm gonna do a video on that, Lord willing. But Ezekiel, and then he said when he was taken to the temple, and he said the cloud filled the temple. That could have been the chariot, you know, going into the temple and just kind of zapping itself smaller in a smaller form. Because then it says it, right, it kept saying the glory of the Lord appeared, and of course the Lord himself is not going to appear in the temple. That's the angels, it's the chariots there, you know. But that's kind of mind blowing when you think about it, you know. Ezekiel, he definitely saw some stuff, you know. And but anyways, let's see where we're at. We're at the 1 hour mark. Jeremiah 19:7. Let's see how many more. Actually, we can finish this chapter. Jeremiah 19:7. And I will empty out, because that's what Salakia. Bakwak means. It means to empty out, to pour out. And I will empty out unto the council of Judah, or that's counselors, plural, Itazath, and Jerusalem, and the place this, and they shall fall upon the sword before their enemies, and in the hands of those that seek their soul, and I shall place unto their carcasses for meat unto the fowls of the heavens, and for the beasts of the earth. Just like when it says in the book of Revelation, gather of the beasts of the field, the fowls of the heavens, for the great supper of the Lord. That doesn't mean the fowls, the birds are going to start gathering and, eat up the Edomites to pieces and the heathens. No, that's just talking about the destruction, the great death that the Lord is going to bring via the chariots, via the missiles, right, the judgment of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. So it's not, super deep, you know? It doesn't have no super deep meaning. Like these are just Hebraic ways that the Hebrews would exaggerate, or what do they call them, hyperboles. I'm not going to look it up. You can look it up. You know, so sometimes it would say things like, just like when it's described Israel as the sands of the sea in the Book of Judges, the Midianites. It says that they were as the sand of the sea, and they covered the earth when they besieged, when they started vexing Jake and killing their crops, destroying their crops and whatnot. So these are just ways to describe, biblical ways to describe things, But yeah, Israel is as the sand of the sea, but that term can also be used in other aspects to describe other nations. You know, it's not just okay. So now it's describing the Midianites as the sand of the sea. You know, that means there's as much Midianites as there are Israelites. No, 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 sir. That is not what it's talking about. Okay, that is not what it's talking about. All right. But anyways, Salakia, just bear with me 1 second. So you got to know when to have discernment. You know, understand when something is talking about a particular thing and when it's not. When particular terms apply to a particular thing, and when they do not apply to a particular thing. All right. But anyways, so it reads Wa bak bakwathia atha itazath Yahawada wa Yerushalayim ba makwam hazah waha palathium ba harab lapanya ayab yaham wa bayad ma bakwashia napasham wa nathathia atha nabaltham la ma akal la iwap ha shamayim wala bahamath ha aratazah. And again, that was talking about when the Babylonians came and cast the Jews out and took them into captivity. All right, because Jake was wicked as hell. Jake was going off. All right. So verse 8 says, "And I will make unto the city this desolate, or Salakia, unto desolation, and unto a hissing." Sharak actually means to whistle, not to hiss, but it's just another way, basically you can say hissing, mockery, but let's look at the root. Whistle or hiss. You know how they go, man, they did a number on that guy, you know? In that sense, you know? Sharak also means noble vine, which is where you get the word the word Syriac from, right? Or Sirach, like the book of Sirach. Sharyak, in the Hebrew, it actually means noble one, noble or noble vinesman. or that's how you would describe the Syriac language, Sharyak, which just means again noble vine, you know, because that's an ancient language, that goes way back to, right, basically, to the Hebrew, right, which they're similar, just like the Arabic, which the modern Arabic is more so, they added their own twist, but there's some Hebrew words there too. It's just another dialect of Hebrew. Just like when you go back to the how do you what do you call it, calligraphy, or the Moabites and Ammonites. When you look back at the ancient calligraphy and stuff like that, or how it was written, their writing systems before calligraphy and all that, that goes into the Syriac. It goes back to the Syriac. You know, Syriac is more ancient than the Arabic. Arabic is basically Hebrew. Syriac is Hebrew, but it all goes back to the Hebrew basically. Even the language of um the Elamites. When you look back into their writing systems before Sanskrit, it goes back to the Hebrew. They had Hebrew symbols. You know, same thing with the Greek, right? Esau just kind of made his, he came up with his own thing, or he took that from the Japhites, because when you look at the lettering, it's similar. But the Greek is completely different, because the Greek particular words can be inflected and, you know combined, and you know I, I'm not really going to go into that. You can look that up yourself. You know, and when you look at Esau and the English language, he kind of, there's some little hints of Hebrew there here and there. Because they're Hebrew Edomites. There's Hebrew Moabites. There's Hebrew Ishmaelites. You know, even when you look at the word Arab, which is how they say Arab or Arabic, you know, it sounds like the words are just moved around. Ibar, Arab, Ibar. Same with so the Hebrew is the language of the heavens, period. You know, we're not throwing dirt on these other languages, but it is what it is. You know, like I was looking at, like how the Ishmaelites, they say, God is great, which is Allah Akbar. That word Akbar, the root word is kabar, which in the Hebrew it means like coarse or harsh, or it's another way to say strong, or strengthen, which is why they say Allah Akbar. You know, which Allah just means God. That's like more of a title. Yahweh is his name, meaning he exists. You know, so you gotta go into the history too. History. It's not just about going to the Hebrew, going to the Greek. For example, there was a term. That term, I've used it before when I've made particular lessons. I would say we're the people of the book, but the Ishmael uses that term too, but he doesn't. It's not talking about the people of the Bible. When it says people of the book in the Quran, they actually mean like other nations that they're in the Quran. So it's not talking about the Israelites and that they're the people of the Bible. When you actually dig into it, so this is why in the beginning the Lord gave. He said, you may eat of the trees of the other trees, right? Meaning we're to know about these other doctrines because that's how we can rightly divide the words of truth, right? By going into the history, by going into other customs of the other nations, you know, like the grape doctrine, you know. We go into how there's countries out there, there's in the Middle East that they still practice, um, and even in the land of Ham, they go out and they take brides and then they they find them and they pop them and then they have to and then they marry them and take them back to their family. Which we don't condone that today because you can't just do that, you know. So we're not talking about um, like they said that Muhammad and there's still that's still prevalent in the Middle East, child brides. We're not talking about that. We're talking about in the ancient days, there was fathers that would sell their daughters and make business transactions. That's just how it was back then. Of course, it's not like that today. After they reach a certain age, after they matured, you know, that's just we're talk when we talk about that, we're going into ancient customs. Just like we go into ancient languages, we go into the particular history of ancient nations, you know. So you gotta get some damn sense about yourself, you know. We're not just talking as madmen. We're actually bringing out relevant information, you know. We're not just telling you what we want to tell you, and you know, and that's how the Lord said to do it. We're not showing no respect to persons, and we're not trying to cause trouble, you know, and that's part of being grounded in this truth. You can't be overzealous, because I believe that's what happens to these brothers that come in and they're not grounded in the word. They're not properly grounded. They get overzealous. They get emotional. They try to make the word of the Lord into a show. You know, they try to turn the word of the Lord into a. They go off their own emotions. They get out of order. You know, and some of you brothers need to see a damn psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever you got to do, because this, you know, yeah, some of us we've gone through things, but you got to get over these things. Now is not the time to dwell in the past. That's psychology 101. Dwelling in the past, and you know, you got to forgive and forget. And that's in the law too. Forgive, not holding grudges. We got bigger fish to fry. All right? And you Edomites got it. Well, not at the moment. Right now we're just preaching the word for the remnant. But the Lord is gonna get you. You goddamn devils. You're gonna get it too. 2/3. The Lord is whipping our ass too. So nobody's safe. Okay? But we as the hopeful remnant, we happen to have a greater reward coming, which, you know, it is what it is. But anyways, I know I touched on a lot of topics, and but we're gonna try to finish this chapter. So it says, and I will place unto the city this, unto desolation, and for a hissing unto all that pass by upon her. an astonishment, and a hissing on account of all the plagues, its plagues, which makah means to smite, right? Makath, makatha, that's just to smite in the plural sense. It's just another way to say plagues, you know? So it reads, Salaki, just bear with me 1 second. All right, I'm back. So it reads, Wash Shamtaya, Atha Ha Ayor, Hazaath La Shama, Wala Sharakwa, Kol Ibor Alya, Yasham, Waya Sharak, Al Kol Maktha. Verse 9, and they shall eat unto the flesh of their sons, and unto the flesh of their daughters, and the man the flesh of his neighbor he shall eat. In the siege and in the pressing, because that's what tazak means, it means to press, or you can just say straits. But really, straits is matazarium, right? Let's look at that word. Straightness, yeah, so I was correct. But it actually means a pressing. So that's why I read it like in that sense, a pressing, right? Which they shall be pressed, which there shall be a pressing unto them by their enemies, and of those that seek their soul. And that's part of the curses, right? When the famine hits, some of you, because the curses, we're still living the curses. All right. So some of you Jakes, you're gonna eat the flesh of your children when shit hits the fan. If you don't take the charagma. So it reads, Waha akal thayim atha bashar banyaham wa atha bashar banath yaham wa ayash bashar rayawa ya akalwa ba matazar wa ba matazak bashar yatazayakwa laham ayab yaham wa ma bakwashia napasham. And thou shalt break unto the bottle unto the eyes, as in before the eyes of the men that go with thee, which is the potter's earthen bottle. All right. Which that's the part of the ministry of the prophets, right? They gave examples. Salakia, they gave examples, like Ezekiel, he was asked to lay on one side for like I believe 40 days for like a month. And then he laid on his other side for the iniquity of Judah, and then for the iniquity of Israel, northern kingdom, southern kingdom. The Lord told them to gather all kinds of grain and put it in a bowl and crush it, and then bake cakes upon the earth, right? So he wasn't even using wood. He was using first the Lord said use man's dung as fuel, and then he said to use cow's dung, because that would actually defile the food if you're if you're burning dung to cause those cakes to form. So he didn't say actually mix it with dung, but and I think he was asked. One of the prophets, they were asked to walk around, I think without his shoes or something to that effect. You know? So that's why the Lord said, by the similitude, by the ministry of the prophets, by similitudes and etc., etc. So it says, and thou shalt break the bottle unto the eyes of the men that go with thee, as in before the eyes, Ma Shabarath, Ha Bakbak, La Ayanya, Ha Anashium, Ha Halakium, Athaka. Salakia. And thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, according to thus I shall break unto the people this, and unto the city this, according to which they are broken unto, or Salak, according to which one that breaketh unto the vessels of the potter, which cannot be, which is not able to be healed, which is la harapah. Harap means to heal, but it also, when you go into the root word, it means to mend or to sew back together. It's another way to say to heal. Anymore, and in Topeth they shall bury them, so they not be a place to bury. Right? So that's similar to with Topeth and the Valley Hinnom. It was used back then, right? But it applies to future prophecy as well. All right. But it just so happens to be called, sometimes it's called by different names. Valley of Decision, Armageddon, Har Magaddon, which is Mountain of Troops. you know? So it reads, Wa Amarath al Yaham Ka Amar Yahweh Tazaba'ath Kaka Ashabar Atha Ha'aim Haza Wa Atha Ha'ayar Haza'ath Ka Ashar Yashabar Atha Kalya Hayatazar Ashar La'a Yakal La Harapah Iwad Wabathapath Yakwabarwa Ma'ayan Makwam La Kwabar. Verse 12 says, Thus shall I do unto the place this, saith the Lord, and to this inhabitants, and to make unto the city this, like unto Tophet. Kan a Aisha, La Makwam Hazah Ma'am Yahweh, Wala Yeshab Yahweh, Wa Lathath, Atha Ha'ayar, Haza'ath, Ka Thapath. And Vocab Malone, he might be a Ishmaelite. He looks like one of them descendants of Muhammad. When you look it up, one of them looked like Adam Sandler. I was just trying to go into some I was doing some reading, going into some to history and such. I think it was Wikipedia. I mean, it's online, but you know, um, so these they're clear agents. Clearly, there's agents amiss. Even amongst Jake. The Lord spoke of the wheat and the tares. You know, so right. But anyways, uh, so like Topeth, verse 13, and they shall be the houses of Jerusalem, or Salakia, and they shall become the houses of Jerusalem and the houses of the kings of Judah, like unto the place Thopeth, Tophet, um, to be defiled like unto all of the houses which they have burned incense upon their roofs unto all of the hosts of the heavens, and poured out drink offerings to gods others. Trash. So it reads, Wahayawa Bathia Yerushalayim, Wa Bathia Malakia Yahawada Ka Makwam Ha Thapath Ha Tamaayim Lakal Ha Bathium Ashar Qatarwa Al Gath Lakal Tazaba'a Ha Shemayim Waha Wahasak Nasakium La Alahayim Akarium. Verse 14, and he came, Jeremiah, from Topheth, which he has sent him out, the Lord there, to prophesy. And he stood in the court of the house of the Lord, and he said unto all the people, Wayaba'a, Yoram Yahweh, Mahathapath, Ashar, Shalachwa, Yahweh, Sham, Laha, Naba'a, Waya Imad, Ba Chatazar, Bayath, Yahweh, Waya Amar, Al Kal Ha'aim. Verse 15, Slack it. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to get situated. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Behold, I will bring unto the city this, and upon all her towns, which is, it just says cities, or actually that just means, to all her cities, unto all of the evil which I have spoken upon it, which is really means upon her, because the city of Jerusalem is being used in a feminine sense. Because they have hardened unto their necks to not hear unto my words, which reads, Ka Amar Yahweh Tazaba'ath Alahaya Yashar Allah Hanaya Ma Baya'a Al Ha-Ayar Haza'ath Wa'al Kal Arya Atha Kal Ha-Raya Ashar Tabarthaya Alya Kaya Akwashwa Atha Irapam Labalthaya Shamai Atha Tabarya. Right, so that's pretty much it. This is Jeremiah chapter 19, going into the Hebrew. It's Brother Yatazadak, Hero Israel. And as always, Lord willing, you were edified, giving all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Mill Stone. Kwam Yasha'Allah, Abad Babal, Shalom. Lord willing, you were edified. Till next time, Shalom.